Welcome to the Blue Collar Millionaire Show. I am your host, Chad Hufford, and this is the podcast where we celebrate the unsung heroes of the working world. Each week, we dive into the incredible stories of honest, hardworking folks who have found financial success through grit, determination, and good old-fashioned elbow grease. So if you're ready to be inspired and learn how to turn your hard work into your own success story, you're in the right place. This is the Blue Collar Millionaire Show. Hello again. I'm your host, Chad Hufford, and welcome to another episode of the Blue Collar Millionaire Show, where we help you become more intentional and purposeful to experience more freedom in your finances as you pursue a more abundant life. And I've got a great treat for you this morning. We've got Shana and Vanessa. They are your budget besties. They're co-hosts of the top-rated financial podcast, Financial Coaching for Women. They are also trained by Dave Ramsey as master financial coaches. And most importantly, they help bridge the gap between having a budget and actually following a budget so you can gain the freedom that a budget can actually produce in your life. And one of the ways they do that is by making budgeting feel less restrictive. And help people focus on what your money can allow you to do rather than telling you what you can't do. So Shana and Vanessa, I love what you both are doing and helping take some of the confusion out of managing money and spending, and also taking some of the views of a budget being a dirty word and actually helping people experience freedom in a budget. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're so excited to be here, talk about the B word. Like you said, it does get a bad rap. It's got some confusion, got some I don't want to, some pushback. And so we love to come and chat about it and dispel all of that and just hopefully help you make it really easy and automatic.
Well, one of the things that I notice when we bring up the B word is there's people get defensive right away. It's just like, ugh. And you'll probably be like going to a doctor's office and mentioning diet. Like, I don't want to actually change my behavior. Don't you have a pill for this? Do you ladies see that same thing where that budget word already has so many connotations that people have almost a visceral response when you introduce the topic?
Sure. I think when we say usually any type of action items or steps that we want to have you to implement, the first step is creating a budget. Usually doesn't matter kind of where we're at. And it's like, you can just kind of feel people just like tense and get really frustrated with, really, I thought you were going to have a different solution. I thought there was something else I could do besides that. But I think where people get stuck is they hear the word budget but they really don't know what that means. They don't know how to actually do one, because to them, or maybe what they've been taught in the past, is they've written words and put numbers on paper and they call that a budget. And so they do that, and then they're like, oh, I don't really know what to do. So then they move on with their lives and they don't actually do anything with it.
Yeah. And I'll just add that by the time they get to us, Chad, honestly, they know that they need to do something, right? They know what it is they make good money and they have nothing to show for it. And they know that's not okay, because it's not like we're 18 anymore. They're literally, why bother putting a budget? Because there ain't no money to budget, right? They think that because they made more money, they don't need a budget. But actually, it's the opposite. You have so much money, so much to steward well and to put toward your goals. We want you to have something to show for it, to tell your money where to go, as our buddies always say. And so they're usually, as our Dave says, they're sick and tired of being sick and tired when they come to us. Now, what we're going to do is dissuade them from thinking restrictive, like you said, into this is going to give me permission to spend. This is going to help me set up for my goals, all the fun, cool things that I want to do in our life. And, it doesn't mean I have to live with nothing. I don't have to live on beans and rice. Hello, not necessarily. I can still have, pumpkin spice lattes or go golfing or whatever the thing is your thing. You can do that on a budget. It doesn't mean that you can't do anything fun.
Well, in fact, it is so fun for us to make a budget with individuals who have a ton of money. It is, the more you have, the more you can do with. But people, when they first come to us, the number one thing they tell us is, like Shana said earlier, we make good money, but we have nothing to show for it. That's because it's going out as fast as it's coming in, and they actually have no idea where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think one of the things that in our society, we feel that more money will fix bad money management. And so I have a 16-year-old daughter. Just last week got in her first accident. And I mean, honestly, we had sheer ice everywhere across Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, gosh.
And so can't be too hard on her. But it's like, okay, so you got in an accident. What you need is more horsepower. Like you need a faster car that will, and
Right.
you're laughing, but that's kind of the same idea. It's
You'll
like,
win
okay,
the ice
if
battle.
I'm not managing the money I do have and I get a raise or I get another job or do some overtime, it exasperates the poor money management. In fact, as you both know, people that have a lot of income but are not managing it well, that's just a bigger shovel to dig a deeper hole. So
Sure.
I want to ask you this question because one of the things that I run into a lot when we're planning somebody's 30-year plan is they don't really have an idea of what their 30-day plan looks like. They don't really, there's no strategy, there's no intentionality or very little. And I'll ask, do you have a budget? And one of the responses I get is, well, we do, but we don't really follow it. And, we're here as we're recording this. This is early 2025. Everybody's got their New Year's resolutions, better body, better finances, better relationships. But by the time we release this episode, most of those New Year's resolutions are out the door. Where you ladies come in is help people bridge the gap between having a budget and actually following it. It's one thing to have the plan, but Dwight Eisenhower, one of his quotes is, "No plan survives first contact with the enemy." No
Yes, and
budget.
we are our own enemy. Yes.
Yeah, and no budget survives first contact with reality. How do you ladies bridge the gap between having a spreadsheet or having a list of numbers, having a budgeting app, and actually executing a budget so it can change somebody's life and provide the freedom that a budget is capable of doing?
So we love talking about this right now, this time of year, just like you said, because everybody has their goals. And what we figured out, we have a cheat. We're cheating because what we want you to do and what we'll talk about later is how to automate your budget. So we're going to teach you, hopefully you have a general idea of a budget, but we're going to teach you a better way to just set up your budget or write it out. But then we're going to automate it. So what that's like, Chad, is like you go, when you're going to the gym in the morning, you have to get up, you have to go like every day. It doesn't count if you just go one. It doesn't work once, it doesn't work. If we set your budget up, we're going to set it up. It's going to be that one day, that hard day. You have to get up at 5 a.m. It's cold. I don't want to go. And you go. But then guess what? From then on out, you don't have to go anymore when it comes to the budget. The budget will run itself regardless of your willpower, your time, your decisions, your whatever. We're going to set it all up to run automatically. And that really is where the difference is.
Well, and one of the things we like to say is that you don't need another budget. I mean, how many budgets have you made in your life? Have other people made for you in your life? And like we said, it's numbers and words on paper. What is that? What do you do with your hands after you do make a plan? We like to say you don't need another budget. You need a budget system. And that's where we feel we really differentiate ourselves from the competitors, from anyone else out there, is because we actually, like Shana alluded to, we set a system in place to where we take those numbers, we put it automatically like in a system for you. And literally all you have to do is swipe a debit card and look at your budget every now and then to make sure that you're still on plan, because everything is done for you.
Yeah. So we used to teach at FPU, Financial Peace University, and people would not be able to do the things because they couldn't figure out how to make a budget. We want your budget to be very simple. That's the way that we've set it up. And so you said people come to you and they're like, we have a budget, but we don't really. No, you don't. What you have is like a fake budget. It's like some of the things that you spend money on is on that budget. We want to be very comprehensive, right? And get it all out there so that we can set everything up to your bills are going to be paid automatically. Yeah. Your spending is going to be funded, and your savings buckets and investments will also be done automatically.
Well, and here's the thing is you probably have people who come to you who want to invest. And we hear that a lot. We actually partner with a lot of investors, a lot of financial advisors, because people come to them who want to invest and they think that's their next step. They think, oh, I want to invest. I need to save money. I need to come to you. And then y'all take a look at their budgets or take a look at their money and you're like, no, you absolutely can't. You're not ready yet. So we have actually had financial advisors send them back to us. We kind of clean up things and allow the wiggle room in their budget that they need to be able to invest. But our goal for basically your clients is we want them to be great investors. We want them to continue to always invest once they start that process. And so what we feel like, we know that they want to do that immediately, right? Because time is of the essence, and they know that they need compound interest and all that. However, what Shana was alluding to of getting everything in order is there are so many things that you have to plan for and kind of get your budget ready for before you add investing in there. And we're talking about saving for Christmas, saving for unexpected expenses throughout the year, saving for travel. You can set your budget up for paying bills, gas, groceries, and, whatever you have going on. But what about all the other things throughout the year that pop up that people forget about until in the moment, and then they get stressed out and they figure, I can't do this. And then they pull from their investments to be able to cover these expenses.
Well, one thing that I want to touch on just real quickly that you said, some of those other things, right? And we're helping people plan for retirement. Sometimes a tendency is for people to give us estimates, because one of the things we ask for is how much income would you need showing up in your checking account every single month to give you the confidence that you could give up your paycheck and still live comfortably. I'm not even going to call it retirement. I'm going to call it a work optional lifestyle, but you don't need your paycheck to sustain your budget. I have some people say like, well, if I never went on vacation and if I didn't buy new clothes and if I kept my house at 55 degrees to keep our gas bill low, I could probably live off this amount. I'm like,
what kind of life is that?
That's not free. Exactly. So I think going back to what you ladies were talking about earlier, like budget isn't just telling you what you can't do. A budget shows you the freedom, what you can do. Just real quick, we just touch on retirees, and I want to go back to something you said earlier. But for people planning retirement, some of the things that you ladies do is help you figure out what you can add into that. So you're pursuing this new life, not just, hey, what's the soonest I can not have to go to work anymore? But I think it helps people envision like what retirement, what that financial independence might look like, because you can start putting those pieces, hobbies, travel, the things you want to do, rather than just, okay, I have this piece of paper, this budget telling me all the things I can't do, and Shana and Vanessa are ruining my life. That's not the goal.
Yeah.
And is that resonating?
No,
I mean, it's
yeah. So so here's a fun thing, Chad. Almost all of the people that we talk to when they want to make their retirement budget, we have to figure out grandchildren. Like they want to be the best grandparents, and they're like, how do I get to them? How do I spend money on them? How do I spoil them? Like we actually put that in their budget. And so what's good is if you figure out your budget now and you see what you cost, there are going to be some changes when you're retired. Maybe your mortgage will be paid off. Maybe you'll be debt free. Maybe you're going to add more travel because you're not working as much or whatever. But we want to be realistic about that budget. Like, let's not shoot for scarcity. Let's not shoot for the lowest common denominator. Let's shoot for what's possible.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is come up with a budget. What does your life look like? Let's dream about that. What is the exciting thing that you're going to be doing while you're retired? We're going to put that into a budget, a mock budget for retirement. And it's going to include all your bills. It's going to include saving for the fun things. It's going to include all of that. That way, that's the number we're going to bring to Chad. Yeah. That number is what we're going to bring to you, and you're going to help us get there.
And before we started recording, we kind of talked about how a financial plan without a monthly income target, without a budget, is like having a roadmap that you don't know where it's going. Shane, what you said is so important, because we want financial independence to be what we're retiring to. Part of what you ladies help people do is frame that life. What do you want to be doing? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be doing it? What do you want your life to look like when you don't need a paycheck anymore? And it's so much more fun than the slap on the wrist. This is what you can spend money on. This is what you can't. And the other piece of that too, and I hate to say it, but if you don't know where your money is going now, it's really hard to plan where your money needs to go in retirement. So I want to circle back this idea of automation real quick, because when we're trying to change habits, and I know you ladies are familiar with James Clear, and too often the easy habits have long-term negative consequences. Like, you buy the TV you don't need on Amazon, you eat the cheesecake that you really didn't need, you lash out at your spouse, whatever the thing is. Like, it's that initial easy response usually has lasting long-term consequences. Beneficial decisions like a budget, like investing for the future, like going to the gym, working out, usually have an upfront cost. There's discomfort or maybe some pain associated with that, but the benefits are long-term. But too often our environments steer us towards those short-term pleasures, unhealthy habits. And what automation does is it provides a context where you don't have to make the decisions over and over. You're not deciding every morning what you're going to spend money on, what you're not. So by taking some of that friction out of it and taking some of that decision fatigue away, so you're not deciding every single day that you're going to be a good steward, what are some of the ways that you automate that so a budget doesn't take as much discipline?
Well, first I want to say really quick that, when people come to us, we like to tell them this isn't a quick fix. If you're looking for a quick fix, this isn't it.
Exactly.
Because there is going to be some type of discomfort. One of the first steps we have them do is a 90-day audit, which they all love so much. But it's basically looking back 90 days. Don't do it during the holidays because that's a little wonky, but take a 3-month period where it's like your normal everyday living and go, what am I or what have I been spending my money on? And there's no shame there. There's not judgment. Like, we don't want you to get mad at yourself, but it's in order to know what you want to do, what you're going to do with your money, you have to know what you are doing with your money. So you can answer some questions and go, do I want to continue doing that or do I not? Do I need 15 subscriptions that I don't ever log on and use anyways, or do I just want 5, right? So you need a clear picture of what you're spending your money on first. So then we can make some decisions and put some systems in place so you can move forward knowing that you have this plan set up and it's a plan that you want.
So James has that saying, when people don't rise to the level of their goals, they fall to the level of their systems. That's what you're going to do. You're going to, so your basic budget, the way we teach it, you have your income, you have your debt payments, you have your bills, you have spending and savings. There's 5 columns. We're going to list everything. We're going to get everything. When we do that 90-day audit, we're not going to just do the basic cute little budget. No, we're going to be real about how much you spend at Starbucks, how much you spend at the golf course, whatever it is, or I guess up there in Alaska, how much you spend on hunting and fishing and ATVs or whatever y'all do. I don't know, but we're going to be real.
Snow shovels and
shovels and salt. So we're going to be real and get that all into your budget. And then what we do is we have your income come into a bills just very quickly over, like a quick overview. All your bills go into all your income goes into your bills account. That is a separate account that only pays your bills. And then from there, spending money is transferred out into a different account. Guess what? You can have more than one checking account. You're not 18 anymore. It's allowed. Okay. So then you're going to have over here, you're going to have spending money is completely separate and it's put over there automatically. And then the same for whatever savings buckets that you have set up. Those are all going to be done automatically. So when you wake up in the morning on payday, your bills are getting paid automatically. Your spending is being funded automatically. And so are your goals with your savings buckets all being done automatically. So when you talk about friction, there is no friction. You didn't do anything, but there is actually friction to do the wrong thing. Because now, Chad, I have to go into Melanie's wedding fund and steal from that if I want to be a bad girl, right? So I've added friction into taking money from something because I've named that account something different. It's already set aside. I feel really good about that. So in order to spend that on something I don't want to, I have to come back and take it back out, which I usually won't do.
So what you said is you've added friction to the negative or the unhealthy behavior, the overspending, the impulse buy, those types of things. And you've reduced the friction to accelerating debt payments, to saving for retirement, saving for the next vacation. So it doesn't take, again, it's not a quick fix. This is not a silver bullet, but you're making the good decisions, healthy decisions easier. You're making the unhealthy decisions a little bit harder.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely, one of the things that we like to say is we want you to be bougie on a budget. We want you to have a budget that you enjoy, something that's refreshing, that gives you the freedom to spend. And by setting up a system where all of your income is coming into your bills account, your bills are being paid, and then you're funneling the rest of it out into spending, into savings, that is giving you the freedom to know that I can spend freely at Target. I can go to Starbucks. I can spend on this birthday that I want because I know what I have in my accounts over there. Oh, and also I'm saving for Fiji. Also, I'm investing. I'm saving for Christmas. I'm saving for an upcoming birthday that I have. And also my bills are getting paid. Like that freedom to know that you can do, we like to say you live in the spending part of your budget, right? Like that's every day, that groceries, gas, all that. You're living in the spending section of your budget. And then everything else is just happening.
So can we speak to the sustainability of this for a little bit? Because I think that is a key piece where the breakdown happens between having a budget and following a budget. Because like you said, I mean, a budget you do for a month or even for 3 months, it isn't going to make a huge impact in your future. This is setting us up for what are we going to do for the next several years and decades. But I think sustainability gets us in troubles. Whether it's somebody starting a new workout, they haven't been to the gym in 20 years and they're downloading Olympic sprinter workouts, or somebody who's like, oh, I'm just going to eat chicken and celery for the next 10 years, and, because I've got to lose this, whatever the thing is. But can you speak to your system and sustainability? Because I think that's a key part of the automation is it allows this to not be a 1 month, 3 month. It helps you create a new lifestyle, not just a new budget.
So that is exactly it. We want to take, so what people are a lot of times experience is like a roller coaster. Their money is like this. Like sometimes I feel great, sometimes I don't.
Feast or famine.
Feast or famine. This budget, you can literally set it and forget it. You really could. The only time that things would really change is if your income changes, your bills change, right? You have to change the math a little bit. But what we want is every paycheck to feel the same. You're getting the same amount of grocery money because that's how much you actually spend. You're getting spending money. Your savings buckets are all happening the same way. That's what we want. And in that way, it's very sustainable. You don't have to do anything. And the other part that makes it sustainable is it's working with habits you already have. What we know is people check their bank account. They have one bank account. This is a big problem. And they're just like trying to swell. Did the rent get paid? Okay, I paid for the college tuition and investment. And then
is it pending? What
do I have money for groceries? I don't even know. We're taking all of that out. So it's so you can still work, like do the thing where you check your balance, but you know that account is actually called gas and groceries. And I have $500. There's no like guesswork in it. And the same thing with your credit cards. Like you're usually using that balance or that limit as how much I have left over. You're going to have that same habit apply to your own bank account. And so it's working with your habits, which I think makes it sustainable.
Well, and we have a lot of people that come on and they actually have some friction of opening up a couple of accounts. And they're like, I'm not doing that. That seems like it's going to be too complicated. I'm like, no, what's complicated is that you're scrolling through your one bank account, trying to figure out a million transactions that just happened in the last 7 days. And you don't know what's going on in there. I mean, you're already overdrawn. Like I had a new client. It was the first time they had money in the account. This is the problem. They never have any money in the account. And this was the first time they had it and they blew it. They literally spent all of it and they hadn't paid their mortgage that month yet because they hadn't transitioned over to the spending accounts. And we kind of worked through that. And I said, well, what prompted you to spend this money? And they said, well, it was the first time we had money in the account and we just wanted to spend it because we've never had that before. So this idea of being able to separate your money and going, no, you can't touch this. If you literally touch from this account, you're going to get overdrawn on purpose. Like obviously we have a little bit of a buffer in there, but we want the bills account to do nothing but pay bills. And so you don't have to worry about it. It's on autopilot. Everything is being withdrawn automatic. And on the contrary, you also want those spending accounts to be funded automatically. So that way, every Thursday, every other Friday, whatever on payday, whatever that is for you, you're getting funded. Like my kids don't ask me to buy things on Wednesday. Our accounts get funded Thursday morning. Like I'm not going to the grocery store on Wednesday because you probably got $20 in the account. It's fine. But that system works for us. I didn't do anything. I set it up automatically. And for the last, I want to say 10 years, I've had this system in place. There's no friction in it and it's all about the freedom to spend.
And even as you were saying that, I was just imagining, that credit card transaction statement. And I'm thinking about like what you ladies do. It's like, you can hire people come in, like organize your closet and things like that. Because it's kind of the same thing because you walk into a closet and there's no rhyme or reason and you're searching for your favorite shoes, your favorite shirt. Like that can be really stressful. Not so much for me. My closet's pretty simple. It's like a few work shirts, a few workout clothes. And I ask my wife every morning, does this shirt go with this coat? And can I wear that? And she's like, yes. Familiar. And I do it. But if you have it and everything's haphazard, it's in a different spot every month. And I think that's how a lot of budgets are. So I mean, you ladies, basically you're the Marie Kondo.
Professional organizers for your budget. Yes.
Of your budget. Yeah.
Yeah. We're tidying it up.
But you're helping. What I love about what you said is you're not sitting there and saying, hey, we're going to take all your habits in a complete 180. You're taking existing habits and nudging them in a direction that aligns with their future goals. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we believe that you want to be more systemized. I know I do. And we know that you do as well, because it just makes life more simple and organized and just easy to run through your day. And so why not translate that idea, that thought, that desire to your finances?
Well, and so, budgets used to be less complicated. Let's be honest. You didn't really have to budget because there was like less bills. There was less going on. There was less things. It is more complicated right now. So what we want to do is use all the modern tools that we have available. Like we told you, you can have as many accounts as you want. You can rename them. You can set up automatic transfers. You can put notes on your transfers. You can do all of these things. And then of course, that's just in the budget realm. Then of course, with investing, you have all the other tools that you, that are modern. They're tech savvy, right? And we want you to use that to make your life easier. Yes, finances can feel complicated, but we can simplify it. This is, like you said, we're tidying it up. We're decluttering it, making it as simple as possible, and like you said, also aligning it with what you're already doing so it doesn't feel foreign, and making it really simple and easy to stick to your budget.
Taking the friction out of it. You're reducing decision fatigue. People don't have to make as many money decisions because you've pre-decided at some point.
Important.
You're allowing people to experience more freedom because they're not, this is different than a lot of other budget systems because you're not worried about your budget all the time. Like you ladies are freeing people up to live their life. Now there's some guardrails so they don't go crazy, but you're helping people live within their existing habits in a more healthy way so they can experience more freedom and build a financial future on purpose.
Absolutely. You know, one of the questions I love to ask new clients or, people on a free call is, if you go ask any millionaire how they got there, do you think they're going to say it was on accident? Do you think they were going to say, just kind of woke up one day and it happened? No, it was very strategically planned. So, we want you to plan your budget around your lifestyle. Every single person's budget is different. We love to say that every single one of our clients' budget is 100% different. It's not cookie cutter. It shouldn't be, because everyone has something else that they're focused on. Everyone else has their own specific goal, right? So we want you to build a budget that you love, that's enjoyable. And yes, you're going to have some type of guardrails around your spending amount, on your gas and groceries, around going out to eat. It should be an amount that's not uncomfortable, not that you hate, but also keeps you in check. But that's okay, because you can, with those guardrails, build wealth, invest, save for the future, and all your bills will be paid.
And it's customized to the individual. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach, which means one size fits nobody. And it's tailored to their lifestyle, their goals and dreams, and probably even some of their individual risks, or their proclivity towards certain other decisions. You can kind of steer them around some of that without having to. I mean, you ladies said it. There's going to be some friction, but you've rearranged that friction strategically to make this sustainable and to bridge that gap between having a bunch of numbers on a page and actually having a plan that you follow. And that is so powerful, because that's the breakdown that we see all the time, is that at some point somebody had numbers on a page, but it never got implemented into their lifestyle. And this is how people change their financial trajectory. It's how people change their life. And one of the things I've seen is when people get a better handle, when they start experiencing victory in their financial life, that has a ripple effect into every area. And I love what you ladies are doing. I love how you explain it and the intentionality behind it. So where can people find you? What is the next step for somebody listening saying, okay, I need that? I've been on 17 different budgets. I need one that I can actually stick to and follow. What's the next step for people?
Well, the first thing they can do is come over and listen to us at Financial Coaching for Women podcast. So any platform that you have, we will be there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where we would want to send you. And, we have our own budget system. We would encourage you to check it out. You just go to budgetbesties.com/budget. We have a video there. You can kind of see what we're talking about, what it looks like. And because, like you said, it is a piece we do have to get it on paper, but then our budget is going to do all the math for you and help you figure out how to audit, or help you automate it, like we said, so that you can just set it and forget it and feel really confident about that.
And we'll get those links in the show notes for everybody, make it really easy. And I love what you just said there. It's getting it off the paper, getting it into your life. And just want to remind everybody too, it's not just a budget, it's a budget system, because as Shana already alluded to, systems trump intentions. You might have great intentions, but if you don't have a good system behind it, the intentions aren't going to go anywhere. So ladies, thank you so much for joining us, and appreciate everything you're doing. Keep up the wonderful work.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Thanks for listening to the Blue Collar Millionaire Show. We hope this episode has been inspiring and beneficial to you. If you want help on your journey to financial freedom, reach out to us at veritasalaska.com. We'd love to sit down over a cup of coffee with you, either here in our office or virtually, and get to know you and your needs. And though this podcast is free of charge, we do ask that you please do us two quick favors. If you enjoyed the episode, give our pod a great rating on iTunes or whatever podcast platform you use, and also give us a follow on Instagram. We hope you have a wonderful day filled with gratitude and intentionality. God bless.
The information expressed is for general information only and is not intended to provide specific investment advice or recommendations for any individual. It is suggested that you consult your financial professional, attorney, or tax advisor with regard to your individual situation. Hypothetical investment results are for illustrative purposes only and should not be deemed a representation of future results.